The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Lisa and Robin are two fun friends diving deep into conversations where nothing is taboo. They believe in eating dessert before dinner and wearing the bikini. They're allergic to labels, authority, and cheap shoes. Currently, they're launching themselves through life being the good time, bold enough to take risks and inquisitively asking, what's next? They hail from New Hampshire, but they could be anywhere dressed in cute clothes. If they had to share a tombstone, it would read, "Curiosity killed these cats." Your hosts, Lisa and Robin, on the mic.
Text me your stuff.
Welcome back.
I love you, Georgie.
You got that. She loves you, Georgie. Welcome back to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You were listening on WSMN, 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live. We are where all of your favorite podcasts are living in the world on all of those various
and
apps.
if you have a podcast app, you can search Lisa and Robin on the mic. We're on that platform.
Yep. Spotify, all the iHeartRadio, all the other ones. So you can find us everywhere. No need to steal our Facebook page. No need. We're everywhere, and we're free.
Fun fact, do you know that Bobby Flay and I have something in common?
You have an orange tabby named Nacho?
No, but we do have a cat named Stella.
Oh, he has a cat named Stella?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know his cat Nacho. It's a big Maine Coon.
Oh.
Yeah.
We did, we were watching The Worst Cooks show, and I was like, if you've not watched Next Level Chef, like, I love it. You get so many good ideas for cooking, and, like, it's definitely made me step up my cooking game.
Oh, you should see me. Ever since I've been to Costco, we have 7 things. Every dinner is... So someone called last night, and I don't know if it was a work call or not. I was assuming it was a work call, and I was like, I'll have to text you back. I am elbow deep into this meal. I made chicken quesadillas. So I'm roasting everything to put inside that. Then I made roasted corn with cojita cheese and that. And then I made like a spicy Mexican rice with cheese and black beans. I was just like elbow deep because I'm like, I have got to get rid of all of this food I just bought. So there's like 10 courses to our meal.
Feast.
But last week so I have to tell this funny story first because it's a travel story, and then I'll go to the next. I'm going to back up first.
We actually did have real topics, but, our neurodivergent brain.
We're just going off topic here. But we were talking about trips, and you're going to Costa Rica. And the guy who does my nails is Sexy Calvin. He has a YouTube channel called For Monkey, Monki. And he speaks in Vietnamese on it the whole time. So I do the captions to English. Right, because he's talking Vietnamese when I'm reading the English on the bottom. And he recently went to India. The entire YouTube series of him going to India is him saying, "This tastes like that smell. That smell is everywhere." Just repeated in the same sentence and this tastes like that kind of smells. The smell's here too. And this tastes like that smell.
That's
I don't know.
Our Google it.
But it was so funny because he kept saying to the people in Vietnam, don't come here for work. Work isn't great. He was like educating people and the people in Vietnam about whether they should be coming there or not. And he was just saying, no.
Don't come.
Don't come here because and he's going to Vietnam in May. So we'll have a 3-week series on YouTube for that because he travels all the time and he does stuff for his content for his show.
I love it.
So we've taken a couple of motorcycle rides with him. And he's,
we should have him come on our show.
I know we should. It's just that he's doing nails between 10 and noon on Thursday. So he can pay for all his travel for his YouTube channel.
He can get somebody to cover him.
I know. One day we do have to. But we should also go with him. So over the summer, he rides a motorcycle. I would love to go to Vietnam. With a guide like
too.
that.
Yeah.
Someone who's, knows it and speaks the language. I would love to go.
Yes.
But he's a fun traveler. We're talking about maybe going to Sturgis together. But so we'll do some fun stuff with him because he rides a motorcycle and he's always looking for a good time. He's one of the most fun. He's just got a great personality. He's super fun. He's easy to get along with. And he has this channel. So if you want to see funny, he's not meaning to be funny. He's doing this as like
just naturally.
almost like a photojournalist. You know, like I'm letting you
Yes.
know that smell is everywhere. And he says it's like half urine. The smell is urine plus some other stuff.
Oh.
So he's like, it tastes like the smell. Everything is it tastes like the
Wow.
smell.
So, fun fact, I was reading on our Airbnb website that you can't flush you can't flush toilet paper. It says
Grease.
please use a bin, and I was like, oh boy. Chris looked at me. He's like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "You're just saying that because Lisa said that, and you just went on to get." I'm like, There's a bin over there, and I'm like,
But someone will empty the bin, or do you have to empty the bin?
I don't know. They didn't leave that part in. They didn't put that part in
So
there.
bring in plastic gloves.
I was thinking
Or
like,
bring latex gloves, because if you're going to have to touch the bin, how are you going to touch the bin? You're going to need gloves.
yeah.
Because what I said is, if I had known...
I didn't think about it because I'm not doing it.
Okay. Alrighty.
Chris is gonna have to do it.
This might not be the vacation he was signing himself up
Gonna
for.
poop in the woods. We have a 5,000 square foot house, and you'll go poop in the woods.
Yeah, you rented a 5,000 square foot house and you're going to be pooping outside. Travel's fun.
I don't want the monkey, but I'm not.
You never know. Monkeys.
A monkey could get me, or a crocodile, or an alligator, and snakes. They have red-eyed tree frogs. They have poisonous tree frogs. And he's like, yeah, in Costa Rica, they let you lick their frogs.
You're not going to lick a frog.
I'm not going to lick a frog. I'm not even going to, I don't even want to see a frog. But I'm like,
is there a time difference?
I don't know, actually. I didn't even look it
Okay,
up.
you're going to have to look at that. And then you are going to have to text me once in the morning that you're okay and once in the evening that you're okay.
I know.
And if I don't hear from you for 12 hours or longer, I'm going to be calling authorities. Because I'm very concerned for you now. This trip sounds very dangerous.
It says it's 9:15 a.m. there, so it is a
2 hours.
2 hours earlier.
Okay.
Oh, it's going to throw me off.
Okay. But you're going to have to communicate with me daily.
Yes, yes.
You're going to have to send me having fun.
Well, some of the Wi-Fi, I mean, it does say we have Wi-Fi there, but I think a lot of areas, like, I don't know if we'll have Wi-Fi and stuff at the golf course or...
So you're going to have to buy that little thing that you can hook in so you're not needing Wi-Fi onto your phone. Go to Verizon store and tell them you're traveling and you might need that.
What is it?
I forget what it's called, but my family uses it when they go to Greece.
It's like a little booster?
Yes.
Oh.
You're going to have to do that. Because I'm going to be worried. I'm going
I'll
to be
stop
worried
by on
about
the way.
poisonous tree frogs and alligators and snakes falling from like, I'm going to be worried for you.
Well, and they say...
You're going to have a great time,
They
and I'm going to
say
be worried
don't
here.
leave any valuables. And I was like, Chris, that means your iPad too. Like, don't leave those out in the kitchen. You know, don't leave them out in the... You know, I'm like, gosh, it's going to be like a chore every morning to like...
An alligator. Well, maybe
pack
the
everything
monkeys
up.
come and pick things up and take them to the forest.
That's true.
Maybe they're like, oh, what's this?
That's true.
I'm going to go play with it. Scroll. You find a monkey
Well, because I
scrolling.
know, like in Aruba, we locked our front door, and it had 2 doors. You know, it had a gated thing, and our fence was locked and stuff. But so a lot of times, because there's no air in there, we would leave the back door, the sliding glass doors, open to the pool. And you know, it was somebody could, if they really wanted to, climb over the fence and walk into the house. But
Yeah, you're
I
gonna have to.
didn't even think about that.
You're gonna have to keep me updated. So wait. So then we're gonna go. I was looking for something because I wanted to clip something out of the show, and when Robin says the word work on this radio show, it sounds like she's saying the dirtiest, most disgusting 4-letter word.
It is a 4-letter word.
It is a 4-letter word, but the way you say it, it's like
How do I say it?
work. Just like work. Why does work have to? But the way you say it, it's almost. It sounds dirty. It sounds like a dirty little secret.
Well, but most people think of it as dirty.
I know, but what I was thinking is it's not. And this is the conversation I want to have. Because what I was thinking is if I just heard you on the radio, in the amount of times and the negative way you talk
That
about
spoiled
work,
little turd.
I would think that you were just the laziest person because you don't like work.
Yeah.
This is work.
Yeah.
But that's not true. You can't sit still. You're always doing something. You're always doing projects. You're always doing something. So it's actually not work you're opposed to.
No, I think it's what you, yes.
But when we talk about various things, and like I was like, oh, maybe we should try to open a boutique. We both like fashion. It could be something. It could be a nice business that complements what we already like to do and we're already a part of it. And I think not that it would sustain us for the next 20 years, but I think we could find it as an income source that we're not having to make all of our money by it.
But that you find, so the way I think of, I guess the reason why I say work like that,
vehemently opposed.
yes, it's the energy that you feel the most stressed by, like, or you don't.
I would argue.
Well, but I don't think preparing a meal for my family. I don't think painting my kitchen.
For
I
some
don't
people,
think. I don't
preparing
think,
a meal is the most stressful thing that they
yeah,
could do.
I mean, I said to Chris, I'm ready to demo those tile floors in our kitchen. Like, I will do it right now. To me, I don't see that as work. I think that is creating.
So, okay. And so this is what I wanted to talk to you about. There are so many times it'd be like, hey, would you be interested in this? And you go, yes, no, because I don't want to do the work that, like, I don't want to, if we own a boutique, I don't want to work in the store.
Yeah.
But, all right, let's play that one as an example.
All right, so the reasons why I'm attracted to that is because I love clothes. I love the idea. I love the idea of owning a boutique. I love the idea of picking outfits to sell. I love the idea of helping people get dressed, you know, feeling good about themselves. I love it. I love clothes. I love that. But I don't want to be the one that's physically doing it every day. I don't want to be doing the cash register. I don't want to be doing the taxes. I don't want to be doing, you know, paying the bills and all of that stuff. I want to go in and be the creative part of it. I don't want to be the integrator of it. So to me, that's creating versus work. The negative side of it, the negative end of it is the work, is the hassle. And I think that most people, we feel like, or maybe they don't. Like, but a lot of times, like, well, I just got home from work, or I have to go to work, or I have to do this, or we plan our lives, and we always look forward to just Friday and Saturday because Monday through Friday we're at work. It's a struggle or a hassle.
But I want to get back to you like picking the outfits, you would like stocking the store with clothing, you would like finding retail, like you would like that stuff, but you don't want to do the cash register, hanging the clothes
I guess
back on
I put work in, everything that I don't want to do, I guess I put that in the category as work.
Right. But
because none of the other stuff is work to me.
Right. But the other stuff is the work too. That's the work of owning a business.
Yes.
Is choosing what lines you're going to carry, choosing the clothing that goes into that. All of that part is work too. It's just, yes, there's an accounting component. There is someone who has to hang the clothes back up. That's the thing that stops me the most. I don't want to fold.
Yeah,
all day.
I hate folding.
That's my thing. But again, if we were to open a fashion boutique, it probably wouldn't be us working in it all day, every day either. We would have employees.
Yes. But at the very beginning, would we be able to do that?
No.
And I don't
first
mind.
6 months, I wouldn't want to because I would want to get an understanding of everything because I've never owned a boutique before.
Yes. And don't get me wrong, I feel like I'm one of the hardest workers I know.
Yes.
As
so
far
that's why
as
like
it's the stuff, but now I feel like I'm being more selective or just reframing. I'm reframing, you know, because I don't mind I like the creative side of it. All the things that I don't like to do about something, I think I put that in the work category because that seems like a chore. But what if we could reframe work? You know, let me get your opinion. If we reframe work, like how many people in this world do you think are doing their dream job? They get up
10%.
in the morning.
10%.
Yes, of the whole world. So the 90% of the people that are doing it always have something negative around work. They're a dread, a stress. I have to go to work. I have to go to do work. What if we reframe it and say, you know, how many people are defined by their jobs? A lot of men are defined by their jobs.
Absolutely. They are the provider.
It's why they struggle the most when they retire. And a lot of times they'll go back and go get a part-time job and do something else. A lot of it too is I think that they still need to be busy, even in their bodies need to be, their minds need to be busy.
Well, I think they don't have a purpose, and then what are they going to do without a purpose?
Right.
They have no reason.
But what if we could reframe it to say, this, I'm working, I'm doing this job to create the life I want. It's providing me the life that I want. And see, then to me, it makes it more exciting. It makes it palpable, tolerable, to be able to say, okay, yeah, I'm doing this, but then I get out and then now I have all my free time. I still feel like a kid at school. Like when I was working full time, I felt like when I got out, okay, what's next? Now I can live my life. I got my chore over with. I got my duty, my obligation over.
Your work.
Yeah, I got my work over, and so now I can go play. So I think we need to just switch the balance. We need to have more play and less
What
work.
if you played inside the work?
Yes, I agree. But what if you want to go do something and you're stuck at the shop and you don't have anybody to work with you and you don't know how to run the cash register?
Right, but that's a simple enough thing to learn. If you can master the iPhone, you can.
That is true.
You can figure out how to do stuff on Facebook. You can definitely do that. But what I think is so funny is nowadays it is impossible to live and make enough money on one job.
Yeah.
Or one stream of income. So I keep trying to come up with, because I had multiple streams of income, but they were all multiple jobs. So I plowed. I had a property management segment of my business, and then I had sales segment of my business. I had 3 streams of revenue coming in, and I've just gotten rid of 2 of them in the last year. Now that is financially affecting me. So I have to come up with other streams of income. And every time I come up with one, you're always like, no. No, work. No. No, work. Work. No. Work. No, work. 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 No, work. No. Work. No. Work. 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 No, work. Work. Work.
Like
no.
you take him a freedom away.
And I'm like, man.
No.
I'm volleying like, this seems interesting. No, work. Work.
No, dude, I love the idea. I love the idea of the boutique. If we
and I don't even know if we should do a boutique. I'm just using that as an example.
Let's go down that path. But so maybe it's not to say that I wouldn't do the work, but I know that both you and I would tire of it very quickly if we were doing it full time every day.
Yes.
Like I think you and I are very similar that way, is saying, all right, we will work like monkeys and get it all done as long as we can, but we have to have a buy-win date before we are switching into, because now all we've done is we've just created a full-time job for ourselves.
Yes.
It's not the reason we're doing a boutique.
Yes.
So, yes, I'm willing to do that for a short period of time. Like, I'm willing to do that for any of that short period of time. But the ultimate goal is to get your freedom. And the reason why we do work is for our freedom.
Yes. Financial freedom.
Yes.
Especially.
And our time. And like, what do we do? What do we do
Yes,
with our
and
time
both of those,
off?
plowing and property management, required my physical presence the entire time.
Yes. So I do want to create businesses, and I do want to work to maximize
revenue,
revenue, but also to maximize my time, my free time.
Yep.
And so sometimes that helps me reframe, or maybe be more selective about what I consider to be work.
Because I think, and this is, so I have a slightly different take, and there's the part of me that, for me to really understand something, I personally have to do it.
Yes.
So if you said, hey, this boutique is worth $200,000 a year, and we're going to give it to you for 10 grand, I would still have to work in it for a period of time.
Yes,
so that
yes,
I felt like I know the job, the way it needs to be done, what needs to be done to make sure that it's done properly. And because I don't know anything about retail, I don't know anything about clothing boutique, because I don't know anything about selling small items.
Right.
I sell big items. I sell big ticket
Right.
items. I don't sell small,
Right.
$40 things. I sell $4 million
Right.
things. So I would need to do it to feel comfortable before I could even give it to somebody else, because I would need to know if they were doing a good job by doing it myself
Right.
first. So I'm a different
Well,
cat.
you would definitely be setting it up. That would be the fun part.
Yep.
Setting it up, hiring people and things. So the difference between and I think sometimes it gets confusing is people will say, I'm an entrepreneur, I own my own business. The question is, are you a business owner or are you self-employed?
Yes. But that my problem is I go right back to self-employment where
Right.
I will do
That's
all the
where
work.
I don't want to be. So that's
Yes.
that's work to me.
And this is where
And
I'm
if I
looking
have a
for you,
choice-
and I'm looking to you for help because everything I pick is just me doing it again.
Right.
And I'm trying to look for things other than that.
Well, and that's why I was like, well, look, what about investing in the restaurant?
But restaurants, 50% of restaurants go under the
I know.
first
Chris
year,
is the
and then
exact
90%.
same thing. But if you absolutely love food, like the people that we're getting ready to go up and promote, do you know how many times people, and we've been talking about this message actually for a couple of weeks. So we even said it in February. Do you know how sometimes when you put a dream out there, you put a wish out there, and how many immediately people give you the negatives and they poo-poo it?
Yes.
And I was like, but what if I thought about that, and I thought about any time that anybody says they want to open a restaurant, that's the number one. That is probably the number one first response.
Yep.
Is that because it is hard, it is struggling. But if you have a good plan, and so it also makes
A
it
good
for
location.
a risky investment.
Yep.
But if they've looked at the history of these things, like I would like to be a partner, I would like to have a little bit of say. But there's a part of me I've always wanted to own. Like, how cool would that be to own your own restaurant, where you can go in and create the menu? I don't want to cook in the restaurant because I know the stress of it.
Well, one thing, because I love cooking so much, everybody was like, you should be a chef. Nothing would take the enjoyment out of cooking like performing.
Yes.
Nothing would.
Yes.
And if I can't even handle, and I actually talked about this in my cookbook, I can barely handle the economics of a home kitchen. Using all the food before it goes bad, all of that stuff. That's where you're losing money. When I think of, I probably buy $400 worth of groceries a week and I throw away at least $100 worth. And then I will get into these things where, and this is why I stopped going to Costco for a while. Okay, now I have 16 cans of black beans. I have 16 count tortillas. So now everything is made in a tortilla and everything is made. You're trying to throw black beans and everything. And then you start getting resentful and I don't even want to eat this food. And if I don't want to eat the food, I don't want to cook the food.
Yeah.
Right? So just managing that, and now you're doing it performance-wise for people for money.
So I think the perfect scenario for opening a restaurant, if you and I were opening a restaurant, we would hire chefs, we'd hire a cook, you'd hire the staff, and then we would cook it. We would cook for the chef. This is how we want it to taste. This is the flavor. So it is our dish. It's not just someone else's interpretation of the dish.
Yeah, yeah. No, and it's one of those things of, I think of, there's so many businesses. Like, I love, because we've been talking about you don't even know what you don't even know.
Right.
There is a woman, she's a business coach. I forget her name, so I apologize, or I would tell you. But she talks about how baby boomers are retiring and they're trying to sell their businesses because they've worked their entire life. Their children don't want their family businesses, but they've worked their entire life building something. And so you don't have to start from scratch. You can buy an existing business. Well, you know the businesses that make killer money that there's not a ton of competition with? Septic companies.
Really?
Because you know why? Nobody wants to work
So are
with
you
poop
saying
for a
we should
living.
get into septic? I'm not pumping. I can tell
I'm
you
not
that
pumping
right now.
either. I'm not pumping either. But there's
And I'm not doing clogs.
right. But there are so many businesses that run under the radar that keep society moving forward.
Yes.
That when we live in New Hampshire, most of our houses have septic systems. When that goes, what are you not going to fix it? You're
Right.
figuring out the money, whether you remortgage your house or put it on a credit card. You're paying the $15,000
Well, and
for
even
the new
pumping,
septics.
even cleaning out there, that's a regular maintenance routine, not just even when emergency strikes. I was
but-
gonna say when
hits the fan.
or happens.
Right. But so
Bleep happens.
But my point about this is, like, if you went into the IRS and you said, I have to put the code of what my business is on my tax form, and you look through all of those codes, there's like a million businesses.
Yeah.
Or a million types of work. So we don't even know what we don't know. But when you think about the reason why everyone starts a restaurant is because everyone eats. Just the reason why I got into housing is everyone needs a place to
Right.
live.
Right.
It's the most fundamental piece. Just like if you're in cars, everyone drives around in a car. There are certain, everyone flushes a toilet. Everyone uses toilet paper.
Apparently not in Costa Rica or Greece.
Right. Right. So, but you take things in that they seem to be foundationally necessary. And then you build something from there. Clothing.
Well, you're filling a need.
Mhm.
Like the best businesses fill a need.
Yes, they solve a problem and fill a
Yes.
need. Yes, but then the economy going up and down does dictate whether you have more free money to spend on something or you have less free money
Right.
to spend on something. Just like food and gas and electricity and utilities have really siphoned our spending money that we normally. It has siphoned mine. I am spending so much more. I'm
Yeah.
probably spending 35 or more percent, at least 35% more, just to get my basics done than I was spending
Yeah.
2 years ago, 4 years ago, definitely. So my free money is now gone.
Right.
So the things that I would,
Well, our economy is struggling right now. And,
it's been struggling for 4 years. I don't care what
Yes.
anyone says. When you can't afford housing,
Right.
that's how, the economists and all those smart Harvard people and smart Stanford people, to me, it's can you afford to have a roof over your head, to put gas in your car, and food on your table?
Mm-hmm.
Can you afford to do those things and then go live a life?
Yes.
To me, that's when an economy is
Well,
good.
you're meeting your basic needs. You have to meet your basic needs.
And it's not taking all of your money
Yes.
to do so.
And
So when
that's where-
people talk about the rent always going up, so this is going to be controversial because so many people tell me, well, rent is just going to continue to go up again this year because where is the supply of housing that would make it go down?
Well, it's not so. To me, I think it's not so much but the cost of living. Like employers, it's not matched. So the cost of living is increasing every year, but our pay is not increasing every
Yep.
year.
So they went and raised the minimum wage, but then that raised the cost of all the services and
Right.
products because
Right.
you had to pay the person that was making $10 an hour and you now have to pay them $20 an hour.
It seems like they should be doing it because there's
And
so many
insurance-
self checkouts right now.
I know. And
All these we should be price dropping right now for all the times I have to check.
and
my
that's the
own
thing
self
is now you're checking yourself out and you're still paying more. You're still paying
Yes.
30% more, 40%, 100% more.
Yeah.
So I buy olive oil in this tin and it used to be $19 and then it went up to $40 and now it just dropped to $33. And I'm like, oh, that's good, a $6 drop. But it went up.
I know you're like
100%.
deal.
Right, but it wasn't. It's
Yeah.
not a deal. It's still more,
Right.
75% more than I paid for it before. But not to get off on a tangent about that, but people in my industry will tell me, well, rent has to go up because there's not enough supply for it to go down. But people can only afford what people can afford.
Right. Right.
They can only charge rent so much. I mean, we started taking credit cards for rent. But at some point, the credit cards are going to be maxed. Where is this money coming from to pay for this?
Right.
So they're going to default. And, how much... I was talking to a guy who worked at Audi, and I was like, I looked at one of your Audis, and I was like, this is a really good-looking car. It was $140,000. So I'm
Yeah.
going to take a 7-year note for that. That's going to be more than my mortgage payment.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
at 8 or 9% or whatever the interest rate was. And he told me that they're not selling their high-end stuff. Everything below 60,000,
Yeah.
which isn't very much of their line, is gone.
Right.
They are stuck with all the inventory of the really expensive stuff. So that goes to tell you that, oh, it costs more, it costs more. Well, if people can't afford your product, you're not selling your product.
Right.
There's a price point
It's-
per product.
It's where I always think like you're gonna capture more people. Cars a little bit differently, but why not? Like I would think about even like gas stations and supermarkets, and if you can lower your price, there's more people are going to shop because they can afford you than they can other places, and so you're actually making up. Like you have somebody that's selling, something for $5 and you're selling it for $1, but yet you've captured, they might get the people that are selling it for $5, they might sell 3 all day. But yes, you have to sell to more people, but I think you're overall at the dollar to just, you have to sell 5, you have to sell 5 just to be even with them. But if you're getting that traffic to come in, on a consistent basis, you're winning. To me, I think that you're winning because I think that that's where quantity is important. I was going to say it's not over quality.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly all the same quality of everything we're getting here.
Right.
It's like Whole Foods has captured their thing, but a lot of their products are not organic. We market.
Changed. Once Amazon bought them, they completely changed their platform.
Yes.
And what I love about what people say is when people say something that's true once, they say it even though it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
So for years now, people have been saying Amazon doesn't own any real estate.
Right.
Because that was the whole thing of don't own real estate. Guess who's in real estate?
Right.
Amazon.
Right.
Because they own Whole Foods.
Right.
Right. So they're still they're still participating in the system. How do you think, they're in transportation now because they have their own vans.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because at some point they're trying to make money on the things they spend money on.
But case in point too, when you all this online shopping, a lot of times I don't do a lot of online shopping because it's a pain in the butt to have to go return something.
And then
but Amazon has eliminated it. They've made the return process easier. We got a sink and it literally opened it. I opened it and they had laid the faucet inside and it had a sharp corner on the bubble wrap. Well, it's scratched all, and it's a matte finish. It's like a stone, and it left all these black scratches all over the thing. I'm like, Jesus, I literally just opened it. Now it sucks that I've got to go and wait, but I literally didn't even have to print out my shipping label. I literally just took it to Staples and handed it to them, and they did all of it for me. And I'm like, easy.
Yeah, and now how is Staples being reimbursed for their employees not doing Staples work but doing Amazon work? There must be some kind of financial.
It's got to be.
Because why would Staples be paying their employees to do your returns as Amazon?
Because more online shopping.
But why Staples? Why Kohl's?
I don't know.
Why Whole Foods? Whole Foods because it's now an Amazon company. But why are all the other locations doing it? Are they being paid?
Why they partnered with them? I don't know.
Because when you think about it, Staples doesn't even have enough people to ring out the people at Staples or to stock the shelves.
Well, every time I go into Staples, it's always dead in there. There's a couple of people milling around, but
Really?
it always seems to be the one on 101
Oh, okay.
in Amherst. So
Oh, see, I always go to the Bedford or the Nashua one, and they're pretty popped. Like trying to get something at the print center, their print center's through the roof.
oh,
You can't even get same day stuff. But
go
my
to the one in Amherst because it's almost like every time I go over there, there's nobody sitting at the print center,
all right,
or,
that's good to know.
working,
Yeah,
printing something out.
But it's interesting because I've been specifically I've been looking for revenue streams because I eliminated 2 ways that the last 14 plus years I've been making money at, and I missed the money.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of, and people will say, "Oh, we'll invest in the stock market." Well, you need money over and above what you make to invest in the stock market.
Yeah.
That is a revenue stream, definitely, but you need to have money that you're willing to part with.
Well, I think a lot of it too is coming down to I don't think people budget. I don't think people budget and allow in for their free time.
What do you mean?
I have
Like expound.
I don't think a lot of people actually plan in and budget for
Fun.
or
Oh, yeah.
vacation or
We've
things
always
like
had
this.
a fun fund.
Or somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so lucky. I wish I could do this or I wish I could do that." Well, when we set it aside and make sacrifices other places, so maybe I don't go out to eat as much, or I don't go and do this, or I don't go do that.
I don't always buy a $6 coffee.
Yes.
I don't buy. I don't. And I think
I don't eat lunch out. I
Yeah.
don't. It's small sacrifices here or there. It takes me, I pack a yogurt and I'll pack a sandwich or I'll do this. And yes, it would be good, but at the same time, here's a perfect example. Chris got an email the other day saying Irving sent us an email saying that there's going to be a difference because we've done a budget. So moving into this house, we've got an oil tank and 2 propane tanks. So the amount of house we're heating is more than doubled my old house. So Irving suggested when we were switching over companies or switching titles for the house, they said that the people, your prior owners, did a budget and it averaged about $500 a month, and we're like, okay, that's perfect, it'll be there. Well, we ended up owing because we didn't know about the pool heater was going to drain a tank in 2 weeks, and so we ended up owing, so that our budget went up. But I actually like staying on a budget with them. So they had let us know that, hey, you're 3 months in, 5 months in,
And you're going to blow your budget.
Yes, you're going to blow your budget. So, and I was like, well, does that mean? Well, the way they worded it, I wasn't sure whether we were gonna, because we've always had a credit. Last year we had a credit. The year before we had a credit. So I was like, does that mean that we're gonna have a significant credit? So I called, and she was like, no, we're gonna have
Yeah,
you're gonna owe us
money
if you might want to. And I was like, huh. I said, she didn't know. I said to Chris, she didn't know that that just became a competition. And he's like, what? He's like, what, are you going to go around turning all the heat off? And I'm like, exactly what I did.
Yes.
No, I just turned it down in different areas, but now it's a competition to me. And he's like, but why? And I'm like, I don't care if I have $5,000 to spend a month on heating. I don't want to. I would rather earmark that for something else. I would rather save, and maybe that's a broke-minded mentality, but I feel like, no, I'm not going to give Irving any more money. Like, if I don't want to give them any more money, I would rather keep my money. I would rather even cut down a little bit tighter on that, so I can go on vacation. I don't need to leave all of my lights lit up outside like it's day glow, like I'm trying to recreate 2 p.m. I don't need to do that at night. So I'm like, why not? There's a whole side of the other house that we don't need to have it at 72 degrees.
Right.
So why not just turn it down to 66? Nobody's over there. And, upstairs, why?
Yeah.
I can, but my choice is.
Right.
And he was like, well, I can't really argue with that.
Right.
I'm like, so I'm out to beat Irving.
Right. I'm getting a credit back, whatever they say.
I'm getting that credit.
And the price per unit went up too, so.
Yeah, but it's the mindset of, like, you can make small shifts here and there, and you actually don't really feel like you're sacrificing.
Right. And I do think you have an uncanny knack for being able to do that. I feel like, as far as, because you have the why not both. So if I said, okay, there's $300, should you want to do this or this, you would somehow make $300 do both things.
Yes.
You have a really good skill that way.
Figured out.
What I'm trying to figure out is, how do I increase my revenue streams?
Well, yeah, and, me too.
My income streams.
I would love for this to be picked up and take us off.
Right.
So please hit like and subscribe.
Right. So, and that's a thing of, okay, what I found so interesting, and again, it's language. We have changed the language of everything. So as a business person, you're trying to constantly keep up with the language shift. So for example, radio, they say, if you look up everything about radio advertising, they say radio advertising is down. But then they would turn around and say podcasts advertising is up. So if instead of me saying that this is a radio show, I say it's a podcast, my numbers for advertising shift
Right.
by 92%.
Right.
In a positive direction.
Right.
That's strange.
Right.
Because it makes me think where we're just using language, but we're saying all the same things.
Yes.
So
Yes.
advertising is advertising. If you have 35,000 people in your local area looking at your product, do you care if I call it radio or podcast? Don't you just care
Right.
don't you just care about 35,000 paying people?
Yes. Hey, I heard about you on Lisa and Robin. And now's the time to get in before we get super uber popular and you can't buy space. You can't buy ad space.
But one of the things I think of, so I'm when I look at all of these things, I'm always throwing it through that business mindset of selling me snake oil. So every year that I've been in real estate, I've tried a different online platform to have more business. I've been doing that for 14 years. And every year, I don't pick that same system the following year because it didn't generate the leads they promised it was going to generate. I still make more money on direct mail advertising than I make on any online platform. Now, everyone says, no, people will tell me I make all my money off of Facebook ads. And I'm like, how does that work? Someone just hijacked your account, and now our engagement on Facebook has gone down 52 or 58%
Right.
in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So how do you so if you're making all your money on Facebook, and now I just had I get my last year I was getting my facials done at this place in Bedford, and she had made the previous year she had spent $10,000 on ads on Facebook, and it had yielded her a specific dollar amount. For every dollar she spent, she got X money back. And I'm like, that's perfect. She goes, they changed the algorithm, and I spent $5,000 and got zero back, so I stopped spending. And they keep sending me emails saying, hey, we give you a credit of $25. Why don't you spend it? And she goes, until they tell me how to get back to my original dollar for dollar ratio, I'm not going to spend it there.
Because they are getting so many people that are paying advertising. It's kind of like they've fallen into it.
But I think if they can't get you, if they're constantly making you guess, they can sell you something else.
The thing is, they don't care. I think that the Facebook has become such a beast of an entity that they can't control it.
Yeah, maybe they can't control it. That's a
they
good
can't
point.
control it because it's whether they're using AI or however they're doing to
They've
protect
lost
their
control.
algorithm. They don't care about the people anymore. They don't
They
care
gotta care about their advertisers, though.
But until it makes a big enough hit
Yeah.
in advertising, but a lot of times if people aren't using solely Facebook, then they're like, I'm not going to renew that, and I'll just move on. But putting your all, even if you are accredited, because somebody said to me, why don't you just go and be accredited on there? And I'm like, but wait a minute. You hijacked me. You're allowing fraud. You've stolen all my memories. You've stolen my private conversations.
You stole my credit card information.
You stole my credit card information, and now I want to pay you
Right.
$15 a month to tell me that you've got my back.
Right.
You should have been looking out for all of your other people, and it's now. But so now I think that's what people that are paying for the advertising are starting to see that. I've had so many people reach out and said, "Yeah, my Facebook or so and so's Facebook account got hacked." I've heard from so many people that they've never gotten it back.
So I asked a social media person because I'm like, maybe we'll hire a social media person to do we'll see if there's a budget for that, if that's possible, and then we can hand it over to somebody, and then they can fix that. And they said, oh, we probably won't be able to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's a company that does it for a living. That's
Yeah.
their sole method of
Yeah.
business.
Because Facebook has eliminated. I went down and literally sent 15 emails. I found 15 different email addresses for Facebook, and I had somebody who's Meta verified sent me emails. They all come back to a do not reply mailbox. I got one hit out of, I think it was 15, 16 emails. I got one hit. It says because it was a compliance or somewhere I sent it, and it says this doesn't really apply to you. And I was like, oh my God, a live human being.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't.
Oh, but my
I got a
point is,
response.
so if you're doing things, as you're trying to find, we're in a shift. For health reasons, amongst other things, I shut down 2 sources of revenue out of 3. So that's 66.6666%. Right? So I'm looking for other ways to figure out how to generate income, right? So I think it's a topic that everyone at some point in some part of their life they think of.
Well, it's funny that you say generate income instead of work.
Mhm.
So because that's really what it is.
Right, because
But it's actually, so when you say generating income, it's actually, to me, that sounds like, because I want to do something interesting. I want to do something that I enjoy. When you say work,
yeah, so I can't use the 4-letter word with you.
right. Oh, are you doing it for me? I thought you were doing it for you too. I thought you were like on board with this whole.
But to me, when I hear the word work, I don't do the work. Like I'm teasing Robin obviously
I know
about
you.
this.
Oh yeah.
But when I heard it, I was like, man, if you didn't know her, you would totally get the wrong impression. Because it's like she's the hardest working person I know. She's never not doing a project or you know what I mean. She's out in her yard.
I literally came home the other day from rollerblading. Yesterday, rollerblading.
And I was like, how many people think the yard is work? It's in the work.
Yes.
It's in the word yard
Yes.
work.
Yes.
But not you.
No.
No.
I literally got out of my car and I'm like, my purse was still in the car and I'm like, it's such a nice day. I don't want to go inside. And so I got the leaf blower and like was blowing all the sticks out of the yard and blowing them down to the driveway. Cause sticks roll easier in the driveway than they do caught up in the grass. But I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go do the pool deck too. And I'm like, just, cause I don't see that. I see that as creating beauty. And so I guess the things that I feel like work seems like just has a lot of negativity attached to it.
I know, and I think all of life is work. Because I even in this example, if you want to have a boat, you've got to clean the boat when you take it out. You've got to start. There's so much to it, and then people go, "Oh, that's a pain in the that's a pain in the neck. I don't want to do it." And it's like, but how are you going to have the fun if you don't have the?
But I think that's truly what it is. That saying is like when you truly love what you do, it's not work.
Yes.
And why can't we find areas where we're doing that? So we get up in the morning and the 4-letter word that we go to every single day doesn't seem like work because we love it.
Or you're engaged.
So everything
and you're
I
happy.
do, like if I'm digging in the dirt or if I'm, tearing down our kitchen, like none of that. Yes, there is work and energy being applied to it, hard effort and energy being applied to it. But I don't see it. It's like I'm working for me.
Yeah.
I'm not working for somebody else. And I feel like that's where we get that negative,
Yeah.
Because I feel like when people say, well, I got to go to work, it always is, there's always a in there.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like it is a dirty word for everybody.
Yeah.
So, but it's not to say, hey, we're all going to, live off the system and we're just nobody's going to work anymore. No,
We
it's
just have to find a better word for it.
But you just gave a great terminology of like finding different streams of income. Because work is not, how many times is work defines our lives? Work is not supposed to define our life. So I love the way that you can rephrase it, finding different streams of income.
And that's something that I am trying to be more conscientious about instead of just, okay, I'll do that.
Because Target is hiring right now for $17 an hour. I'm just saying.
But it's really funny. If I had to work at a place, I would work at a boutique or a bookstore.
Yes.
If I'm working retail, it's at the bookstore or the boutique. Because I want to be surrounded by the things that I love.
Yes. Yes.
I've always joked that I was going to retire and work at a bookstore. And of course, I want to own the bookstore, that has little snacks and has just random cats that used to be stray and that are not stray anymore in there, and just have all the seats. And we wanted to open up a coin-operated laundromat that was attached to a bar and call it Suds. So that while you were doing your laundry, you could go to the bar, and it would be like the hot hookup spot for. Now everybody has laundry in their house, but when we were in the 90s, we wanted to open up a laundry bar because you have to.
I think that's a great idea.
You have to sit there for 2 hours while you're being washed.
But I feel like every time I've gone to a laundromat, it's like I don't think I would want to drink a beer with them. Like I certainly don't want any of them hitting on me. If I don't want them hitting on me at the laundromat,
that's because you need to go to the better place.
I keep telling Chris a business idea. I want to open a brew-through.
What's that? Oh,
like
yes.
a drive-through convenience store.
I think they're illegal up here.
Illegal up here?
Yeah.
Wonder why.
Oh, convenience store. I'm sorry. I was thinking liquor store.
Oh, yeah, liquor store. Yeah, because New Hampshire's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm tapping in. Like, well, New Hampshire's like one of the most highest consumption of alcohol in the United States.
Is that even over Alaska?
Well, I says one of.
Okay.
We'll have to look it up. But, yeah, there's high alcohol consumption in New Hampshire. And that's probably why, because the state's like, we're getting all those profits. We're getting all those proceeds.
I think it's our weather.
Well, even in Massachusetts, you can buy wine, beer, wine. And I thought there was some.
Like those vodka seltzers?
Maybe. I'm just going to retract it. I used to know there's something in there that you can buy. You can buy in the liquor store that you can't buy.
I hate that AI is all of the choices now.
I know.
Because when I put in the thing, it says it doesn't even answer the question. I'm disappointed with AI. I know you're all so shocked to hear that I'm not impressed by technology. I know. know I'm always on about it. I know. I'm so sorry. I can't stop myself.
So when you're driving down the road and you're thinking, and if you're listening to us, thinking about what would you want to do to create or to have a stream of income, what would you do to change to make you love your job, to make you...
So I do love real estate.
So I think it's mindset. It's mindset. That's what it is. It's
part of my problem is anytime someone does these exercises with me, I say real estate. Because I really, 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 really love real estate. I love buying it. I love fixing it. I love renting it up. I love selling it. Like, I love everything about real estate. It has not been fun to be in the real estate industry because it is too expensive for the average person.
So I just pull it up. Highest state of alcohol consumption. New Hampshire comes up right at the top if you go past the AI thing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And it says... States that drink the most alcohol per capita. Among the 50 states, D.C. and New Hampshire take the crown for the most alcohol consumed per capita, reporting 4.43 gallons per capita per year. A couple gallons doesn't seem that right.
4 gallons?
Something's
per
wrong.
person per day? Or per year?
I don't know. Reporting 4.4.
And you think about all of the bars that are in Massachusetts and Boston, and we're outranking them. In New York City, we're outranking New York City.
Well, true. I don't know how they're doing. If they're doing purchase of sales and alcohol, because a lot of times Massachusetts, they're going to come across the border and not pay their...
True.
Or do we have a liquor tax?
I don't know if we do. Actually,
or do they have a liquor tax?
We don't have sales tax. They have tax on everything, but the amount of places that sell, and there's 7 million people in Massachusetts. There's 1.1 or 1.3 or 1.4 in New Hampshire. So just the amount of people, they have 7 times more people.
But maybe
than
we
we
have
do.
more restaurants and stuff. But maybe they're not drinking as much.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
And they just drink at home and then they go. Or I don't know.
What was the question you asked before that? What would you do?
Oh, yeah. Like if people, if you, it's mindset. What could you do to make your life more enjoyable if you change from, I have to go to work, instead
I would come to this radio station every day.
Me too.
Thank you for listening to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You are listening on WSMN.live. Have a great week. We will see you next Thursday.
WSMN 1590, WSMN 95.3 FM Nashua. Listen, watch, and stream at WSMN.live.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The clock ticking on a government shutdown this weekend if Congress can't reach a deal to keep it open. Senate Democrats say they are not willing to go along with the House-passed budget resolution, and says ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill.
We've also heard from Senate Democrats who say they don't like the way that this was carried about. It was passed almost entirely along party lines out of the House, and then Mike Johnson sent the House home for the rest of the week and essentially dared the Senate, and particularly Senate Democrats, to vote for this House Republican-led package, or, in a sense, let a shutdown occur.
The Trump administration pulling the nomination of Dave Weldon to lead the CDC. Weldon had pushed conspiracy theories in the past that vaccinations are linked to autism. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Russia for talks with Moscow on the Ukrainian ceasefire. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Canada for talks with G7 leaders on the impending trade war and other issues. This is ABC News. Elon Musk's Doge team now has the Social Security Administration in its sights. Well, at least the Social Security's phone system. ABC's Ann Flaherty's in Washington.
Starting March 29, Social Security recipients will no longer be able to use the agency's phone service to update banking information for their direct deposits. Recipients will have to use the internet or go in person. ABC News first reported last week that Doge was examining the phone service as part of a broader anti-fraud effort. The new change is relatively minor. Advocates say they still worry more changes could be in store, whereas President Donald Trump says only fraud is being targeted. Ann Flaherty, ABC News, Washington.
A large storm pounding California. No major problems yet, but many are under evacuation warnings in the areas that burned 2 months ago. The Pacific Coast Highway is also closed for fear of mudslides. New report by the group Ducks Unlimited shows at least 112 North American bird species have lost more than half their populations in the past 50 years. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Whether you're shopping along 101A, working out at one of the many boutique gyms or studios in the area, or simply enjoying a nice day out with the kids, you need healthy fuel to keep you going. Look no further than Clean Juice Nashua, your local neighborhood juice bar. Hi, I'm Mary Beth Fiango, owner of Clean Juice. We are located at 2 Cellu Drive in Nashua. Clean Juice is the only USDA